The history of selling. Salesmanship. Perhaps one of the oldest professions in our human history. In biblical times it is documented that selling goods in the marketplace was common and widespread. And possibly the greatest salesman of all mankind was born to a humble carpenter in a lonely place. He recruited 12 men to help him sell his story. He had his knockbacks, defeats, and many doors were closed in his face. In fact, he lost his life selling his story. Yet over 2,000 years have passed in time, and his story goes on and on. He sold his story to a small following, which grew so strong, that people all over the world from different walks of life now believe his story. Yes, I believe that Jesus of Nazareth was surely a great salesman. It was written in his sales Bible that even his friend Judas sold his whereabouts for 30 pieces of silver to the Romans. Salesmanship, as we know it today, has its roots deep in the histories of mankind. Down through the ages, it has been the salesman who has carried the products and innovations of various civilizations to potential customers throughout the world. Actually, the art of persuasion is as old as history itself. History records the adventures of traveling salesmen called peddlers and chapmen in the year 2500 BC. They followed the caravan routes across the desert wastelands and traveled by ship to bring such products as spices, ointments, silver, and slaves from Mesopotamia to other chief cities in Asia. These early salesmen, in addition to the dangers, braved irate customers and faced the danger of highwaymen, attacks by wild animals, and primitive tribes. It is recorded that in the 13th and 14th centuries, English merchant guilds required their members to carry bows and arrows and band together in groups to discourage attacks. Historically, bartering goods between the populace was the norm, preceding the professional salesman. The first clear examples of salesmen, in the sense we think of today, would be in the early 19th century across much of Europe. At this time, peddler men and women would travel around different towns and areas selling their goods. These goods could be anything from fresh fruit and vegetables to leather goods and woven baskets. This is quite possibly the earliest example of cold calling and door-to-door sales. These traveling salespeople were often reliant upon their ability to sell numerous items and a large variety of goods in order to make enough money for food and shelter. Haggling, bartering was commonplace in this type of sale, and often people would exchange the goods rather than pay money. The business of sales has been a vital part of the economy since the earliest years. Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, salesmen accounted for a large part of commerce in both the countryside and in growing cities. Many spent their lives on the road selling goods, encyclopedias, sewing machines, pots and pans, and more. Even self-made billionaire John D. Rockefeller's father was a pitchman, selling medical cures from town to town. Come back for the next episode.